All right. This week I read the Sibbert Award winner Black Potatoes, the story of the Great Irish Famine from 1845 to 1850. I did get the Kindle version, but the illustrations are the same. They're beautiful. Uh, sorry. There's Black Potatoes. There's the front cover of the book. If I can just turn this around real quick. Let me get out. Sorry. Come on, technology. There we go. All right, so there's your table of contents. Got to come over here, and we'll acknowledgments. There's your introduction, and then we get into the first book with the first picture. So you can see I have the illustrations. I think these tablets. I'd like it to be bigger for the pictures, but I think tablets are the future of reading to kids. I think uh, you'll be able to have animated photos maybe in each book. I think it's going to be really interesting, but I prefer downloading the books onto my Kindle. Uh, if that's a problem, let me know. But yeah, so here's the book on the Kindle. It is very pretty. There's another picture for you. All right, so let's get into the uh, summary of the book. Sorry about that. So, The Black Potatoes is an insightful book. It's a non-fiction account of the Irish famine. The Irish famine took place between 1845 and 1850. The Great Irish Famine affected Ireland in ways we can only really see coming to fruition now and nowadays. I mean, it started the mass immigration that brought all the Irish people to America. I'm sure other parts of the country as well. Gives an accurate depiction of the time, including the politics of the time, what was going on. England chose not to help Ireland with that problem, even though they were in control of the land. They owned the land. They did not help Ireland with the problem. Um, the book was written by Susan Campbell Bartoletti. I don't know if I said that. I'm sorry. The copyright date was 2005. It's a historical nonfiction. It's 192 pages long, and it's for ages 8 to 12, probably a little older. I think this is a little complicated book. Probably too complicated for third graders. Fourth graders is getting close. I'd say fifth grade and above is where you want to get started with this book. When the crop failed, it devastated Ireland like nothing ever has before. No war. It devastated more than just killed people. It changed the entire country for the foreseeable future. It completely devastated the economy. When I think of Ireland, I see a beautiful, green countryside, and I see the people there usually having fun. That's what I see. That's what I think of Ireland. But this changed the way people thought about Ireland. There was nothing but suffering there, and the book really depicts that through the drawings and the storytelling of Susan Campbell Bartoletti. Uh, in the book, you can see the drawings. The drawings at the time. It was artists passing through Ireland at the time and just drawing what they saw. And there's depictions of ordinary people with their clothes falling apart. It looked like it could be a concentration camp at times. People were starving. People were suffering. Their clothes were falling apart. They had no means to generate any money. Their entire economy was collapsing. The Irish population was at risk of dying out. And that's when that first mass immigration from Ireland started. It gives a well-rounded view of the crisis, including political circumstances, living conditions, working conditions, and effects of the famine on those involved. So it tells you the story. It tells you the story in grave detail. It's a dark book. It's certainly not a fun read. And kids won't enjoy it. But it's a serious matter, and hopefully you can come up with some projects, or we could come up with some projects to make this book a little more fun. But it's really a dark subject matter, dark point in an entire country's history. It, it each chapter is kind of cool. Each chapter begins with an Irish poem or verse that captures the country's spirit during the famine. So it's poems written during that time that really teaches you what they were going through at the time. It's a good way for kids to get a feeling of how hard life was at that time for Irish people. I mean, it was so hard they chose to leave their ancestral homes, their land, their homeland. They left. They immigrated. they left it forever for what they thought was forever, at least. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing something like that. Students will be able to see the living situations the country went through. Families were stealing from one another, whereas in the past, Ireland was kind of known for being just they were friendly with each other. You're friendly with your neighbors. You love each other. So this was strange in Ireland. People were stealing from each other because it was that dire of a situation, and you never thought it would be like that in Ireland. Uh, it's good for young adults to put themselves in the shoes of someone else living during the time and place to imagine what they would do if faced with the same horrible situation. So, yeah, if you can read the book and you can try to get kids to imagine putting themselves in that situation, understanding what life was like and that life is not always perfect. Sometimes it can go horribly wrong. You know, make them ask them would they choose to leave their homes? Is that a choice they would end up making? I don't think a lot of people would. I don't think that if you were starving, maybe I guess. It's certainly not the most exciting book in your library, but I think it is a Sibert Award winner, and I think any kid would benefit from reading it. It's more of a serious book, so I wouldn't put a childish graphic organizer to um, complete this lesson plan, I guess is what you would say. I found a graphic organizer that is called My Nonfiction Book Report. It's pretty plain and simple. You put the book title, the author, 3 facts from the story that you remembered, and then 3 new vocabulary words that you learned while reading the story. And then you use one of those vocabulary words in a sentence, and that's the assignment for this book. I think that's pretty simple. If there were older kids, I think you'd go a little more complicated of a book report, but with this one, it's pretty simple. I think the 3 vocabulary words would be perfect, especially using it in a sentence and jotting down the 3 facts to see if you can remember things from the book, especially a book like this, which is a historical nonfiction. So there'll be a lot of facts in it. So thank you for your time. Have a nice day.